with an orange logo on it. Don't be shy, talk to them, especially if you're a builder, if you're working on a DeFi project, youth vaults. Talk to the team. We do have amazing solutions for you, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy everything that you see there. So if you're in Cannes, first, enjoy your time there. Secondly, if you find someone from Rootstock Labs, don't be shy, just talk to us. I'm going to be very happy to meet you there. So without further ado, so for today we do have two very exciting things. It's going to be a bit more technical, a bit more builder focused, but I'm sure that anyone that's interested in this space is going to be very happy about what you're going to see today. So we're going to start very sharp with AI. So like there is no deny that AI is taking over everything, especially for developers writing code. I think that was the first value of entrance of this kind of technology was for developers. So what happens when you put together blockchain and AI? So that's when actually the things can get very interesting actually. So let me ask you, if you're a builder or even if you are just trying like your vibe coding, what if an AI agent that you use could work autonomously and that could run a lot of tasks in parallel? Meanwhile, you do other stuff for your projects like do some market research or maybe find new solutions for it. So that's exactly what we're going to explore today with Nico, who is a software engineer, part of the DevX team. He's joining us today, where he's going to break down cloud AI agents. That's not Claude, that's cloud AI agents using Cursor, which is a very useful tool for you as a builder. So that's where blockchain and AI gets very interesting. And Nico is going to break down that for us and show a little demo on how you can access that, especially as a builder on Bitcoin. I think that makes it very interesting. So I'm very happy to welcome you, Nico.
Okay, thank you, Raisa. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. As Raisa said, I'm part of the VEX team at Roostuk Labs. So the idea today is to present a bit about cloud agents. And this is from Cursor part. Let's not get confused with Cloud Code, the tool. Um, I'm going to showcase some examples of what we went testing internally. So let's start. Let me share my screen. Okay, great. I'm supposing you can see my screen. So let's start. So, Cloud Agents with Cursor. First, let's explain a bit, just for those who don't know, what is an agent itself. So, basically, you have large database, large language models that, when you combine this with the capability of using tools, this is an agent. This is basically, it's a model capable of using tools. So, let's start first with explaining a local agent, and then let's proceed with a cloud agent. So a local agent, this is basically when every developer is working with Cursor or WindSurf or Cloud Code or Anti-Gravity. You're basically working with the local agents, and you can have a couple of them, for example, in your machine working. And the idea here is mostly to be like behind the agent in some kind of step-by-step revision basis of what is the output of the agent, right? So you can have that granular control of the different changes that it's doing. A really cool feature that Cursor has for this is showing the file diffs for the agent works, pretty much like would be for GitHub differences, for Git differences, sorry. So this is basically the schema for a local agent workflow. And this is, again, of course, in your machine. But this is the case for cloud agents. So there's a difference here. And the idea is that with this approach, you actually delegate whatever you need to work, you need to have the agent working on, to an agent, but in an isolated environment. So in this case, it's going to be working in a remote machine in an external server. So why doing this? Well, it has multiple benefits, but basically you are not actually depending on your device resources for example, if you run out of internet connection, the agent simply stops working. And also, if you want to have multiple agents working, its work is going to are going to clash basically. But this is not the case with cloud agents. So the idea here is to delegate the task. You can have many of them working in the same repository, of course in different branches, and you can actually focus on other stuff once the agent's finished. So the idea here is that you switch to more like an orchestrator role, right? So that's the idea. And you can start using this like right now. It's really straightforward to do it with Cursor. You need to do these steps. You need to go to the onboarding page, which is cursor.com/agents. And in case you don't have an account, you need to create one. And Cloud Agents is specifically available starting from the Pro plan, which is I think like $20 or so. And then you will have access to do this feature. So then once we are back here, you need to allow access to the GitHub repositories. Choose one repo and click Start. So an agent will start automatically configuring the environment here. And we'll see why soon. But when it finishes, any new agents will start can start working properly. It's pretty much the same interface as we did for ChatGPT. It's like a chatbot. It's in the the Cursor website, and you can also do this from the CLI and from other parts. For example, you can connect it to Slack and interact from there, or for example from GitHub. We're going to see this soon. So I'm going to skip the pros and cons for now. We'll move first to the examples, and then we'll go out to this one. We have the pros and the cons for both the local agents and cloud agents. So in this case, to test the feature, we tried two test cases. First one is proof of concept, yes, and it was rebuilding the Rustro indexer from scratch. Some kind of like a first iteration just to experiment. And in the second, this is the image at the right. And then I decided to try it in a real task that we had in our backlog, which is optimize an endpoint for our backend. And that is the second image. So the idea is to showcase the workflows of the agents and the repos and peers and what configuration we use for this. So I'm going to exit the presentation mode. And let me go here. Okay, so this is the interface. Let me check. Yes. So this is the interface that we have for Cloud Agents. In this case, if we go to a new agent, you can choose the repository that you want the agents to be working on. You can select the branch, the model. If you want integration from MCPs, you can do it too. Again, it's better always if you provide all the context, so you can upload images, audio, whatever you consider necessary. And this is a brief history of the brief chats. When you start prompting, an agent will start working, and we'll have something like this once it finishes. Let me hide the spoilers. So in this case, the agents, the main difference that they have against local agents is that they are running for longer periods of time and more autonomously. And they also have more tools to work with. I'm going to showcase here a bit of the work. In this case, it kept working for 20 minutes for the indexer rewrite. So I give it a proper prompt for something I consider like a first iteration. And well, it kept working for 20 minutes. Of course, everything here is collapsible because it's a lot of work that the agent does. And when it finishes, the cool part is that it can actually provide you the proof that this is working. So in this case, this is called artifacts. We have image artifacts and video artifacts. We can see here that after that time working, we have some screenshots of, for example, this is a dashboard that I asked for it, as a proof that everything in Indexa is working, because it's pretty much a backend. So here we see the examples. And this is a video. So it's important to mention that everything shown here was made by the agent. The agent is able to run a computer like a normal human will do, and it's also able to record a video for this. And in fact, you can see that it's actually making some minor editing, because it's making some in, some outs, following the cursor, and it's also navigating the project, showing all the features, which is pretty good. So what's next? So the idea here is to have the agent working, and when it finishes, you check the review. This is what I've been talking about before. It's oriented to checking the output and then deciding to measure, not being behind the agent on each step. And when it finishes, you will have here, let me move the camera here, you will have the details of the PR, right? Once you consider it that everything is good to go, you can merge it, and that's pretty much the workflow. So how does this look in the GitHub side? Well, if you open it here, let's wait it for once it loads. Yes, this is how we see the same PR in the GitHub. We can see here that cursor allows you to tag it, and it will reply. So this is pretty good for follow-ups. And in this case, I decided to pair it up with Copilot. I left it a Copilot review working, and when it finished, I asked Cursor to check all the changes, all the suggestions that Copilot made, and ask it first to confirm if it was able to see it. It was the case, so it started working on it. And I don't remember if it was in this same chat. I think it was in this same. Yes, it was in this same one. It has some kind of pre-created prompt, but it basically provides the prompt that I wrote in the PR. Pretty cool. So it kept iterating there. And in this case, that's basically the example. In fact, you are also able to control the agent machine, that the one that is working. Let me see if I can do it here, because this one I left it running yesterday. Let me check. I think we should be able, yes, we are able to do it. Okay. Again, as you can see, this is the machine that the agent was working. So pretty much like a remote server, right? So yeah. And then we have the other example, which was the real task in our backlog. And the idea was to optimize an endpoint of the Explorer backend. And in this case, I provided also a specific prompt of what we required. And after 8 minutes working, in this case, it finished with the changes. But I tried something different here. I asked it to work with multiple repositories. And as far as I know, Cursor still didn't have support at the moment for multiple repositories. So I created a specific workspace for this, and link all the required repositories. It wasn't able to create the PR because we have multiple of them, but it was able to provide me the links to do so, and it created the branches to do this. So what I did is clone the repositories, the branches locally, and test this fix just like the agent write it. No changes at all. And I tested it with a large data set. And in fact, it worked. It's like in one shot. We got a very good improvement in performance. It was like more than 50% speed that we got for a request response. And also the request size was way lower, like 50% or more too. That was the idea of that refactor. So as you can see, this also works for real tasks. It depends a lot of the context you provide, but this is basically the idea. So let's go back to the pros and cons. So once that we show this, we can understand better this part. First, let's talk about the local agents pros. Basically, you have strong manual control, as you know when you are working with Cursor. You actually have control of all the steps. For example, here you will have the differences displayed in the code. It's very visible, and you can decide which ones to keep. So that is something good from local agents. But then you have some cons. Sorry, I went. And in this case, you have relatively short runs. Other needs to be constantly monitoring the agent for follow-ups. And this is due to the nature of local agents. It also depends on your resources. Remember, if you run out of internet, basically your agent stops working. And then it's hard to have multiple agents working in the same repository. Basically, agents start clashing with their works. And now let's go to the pros of Cloud Agents. It's basically an enhanced local agent, but it also runs in a remote isolated virtual machine. This allows a lot of things. Basically, it allows for longer and more autonomous tasks to be done. You can have running multiple agents of these ones in parallel with no clashes at all. You can manage them from multiple places, as I said before, from the Cursor IDE, from the website, from Slack, from GitHub, and it also creates the PRs and the proof, the demo artifacts, right? So, and also we have some cons for it. As we saw before, we actually don't see the process, like we see it working, but we don't see the step-by-step changes that it's doing, like for us to review. This is more oriented to more like outcome demo proof like review. So, and I personally don't consider this something bad, but it depends on the use case. For example, if you need to be constantly behind the agent because you need to check every change because it's very punctual, like it depends, probably it's better local agent for you. But if you need to have tasks delegated, then you have Cloud Agents. So, okay, so far so good. And yeah, regarding security, there was an important thing to mention is that Cloud Agents require all the context necessary, right? And that also might imply secrets and some stuff that is private. And the idea of having that in an external server is not so good. So lately, like 5 days ago, Cursor released self-hosted Cloud Agents, which is actually having the agents working in your infrastructure, which is really cool. The agents still keep communicating with Cursor servers for the inference process. It's like the same process happens locally when you use a local agent. But now you have everything that should be private in your infrastructure. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I find this really interesting, so hope you really like it.
That's brilliant, Nico. I actually have a question for you. So, of course, that for you to even to put these demo for us to see, you had to test and see like how it behaved and try to see what it was capable of doing. And while you were doing that, what was the thing that surprised you the most about the capabilities that such an agent has?
Well, actually, the interaction between both agents, having Copilot making the reviews and then Cursor answering to them and keep working on that, because otherwise I will need to manually comment everything or check everything. But also the ability to provide the demos, which is very important to showcase that the feature is actually working. So I think those are the most important ones. But yeah, also the ability to have multiple of them working is really cool. Again, this is like switching to a more of an orchestrator role. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's it.
And are you able to quantify how much work you saved or how much more productive you were able to be by using Cursor?
Um, I can you repeat it again, please?
Like, are you able to quantify how much more productive you're able to be, or how much time you saved by using such tools, especially for coding on Web3, which is a fairly new technology, and there is some barriers of entrance for developers that need to learn new codes, new tools, new stacks. But for you, like by using these two, how much do you think you can speed up on work?
Okay, okay. I thought you meant regarding local agent versus cloud agents. But yeah, using the tool itself, Cursor, yeah, it absolutely made the difference. Like, it really speeds up the process. Like, working with an agent in the code really speeds up the process. Like, the dev who doesn't use it is like already behind. Because
Yeah.
it's automating a lot of the process, the tedious process that the dev should do. And you now start to be like an auditor of the code. That was the previous step. And now with the cloud agents, the next transition step will be to orchestrate.
Yes. And one last thing is that by the end, you mentioned one security aspect that was recently uh, improved on Cursor. But besides that, for blockchain and the Web3 developers, what are the other point of attentions that you need to have when it comes to security and using such agents on your computer? Like, is there any extra step or extra layer of care that you need to have?
Well, for example, I think it's important to limit the action regarding the browser search functionality. Like, it's known that models can be prompt injected, like it's
Mm-hmm.
reading some page or some image inside a page, and it contains a hidden instruction. And basically, if you have this connected
Okay.
to something in your machine, you're basically screwed. This happened a lot with OpenCloud, for example. We have multiple cases of where um, it was performing a search and it got hacked, basically.
Oh.
And then I think it's important that despite having the agents doing all the heavy lifting, I think it's still important to have a human in the loop process for this. Like, for example, checking the PRs before meshing the code. I mean, we are basically the bottleneck now because we need to stop and review everything. But I think it's a necessary process to ensure that we have a quality code being merged in the main code base. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very useful tips. And thank you so much, Nico. I think that's so useful. And it's such a practical and nice ways that developers can use another technology to speed up their processes, also to bring much more complexity, but without having to make the heavy lift to their projects, which has so much potential to bring so many new projects to life or improving the existing ones that we have. So if you're a builder coming to the space and want to test, want to see, I think this is just the right time for you, because there is, I think, in the future there will be easier, even more easier times for you to code. But now I think it's more than ever easier for you to come into the space, test new things, and try it out, because like as Nico just showed, it's never been that easy to code, to speed up, and to make so many tests at the same time. I think this is never seen before. Like, that's something we have never seen before, and it's just very exciting to see. A bit scary, I'm not gonna lie. Like, as you were, I just realized that it was a recording because you mentioned, and I was like, oh, okay, calm down. Like, this is actually making things happen. But it's exciting, especially if you have a nice idea, and you, as Nico said, like, you need to know your repos, you need to have that very careful eye to judge what's coming out of it, if it's good, if it's working. And then I think that's set up for success for anyone using it. Nico, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the demo. That was super useful. And guys, I don't know if you know, but we have the clips for these calls on YouTube channel. So don't worry if you didn't see the screen too well, if it was too fast, or if you want to check it out something else. We're gonna put the clips of this call on our YouTube channel right after this call finishes. So by tomorrow, pretty much you're gonna have access to that. So don't worry. And moving forward with our call, as I said, this would be a short one, but not less important than any other, because today we have a very special launch for you guys. Especially if you have been building and if you have been using the Rootstock Collective as a builder or as a backer, this is really nice. So today is the official launch of the Rootstock Collective SDK. So the DAO is at the heart of Rootstock and of course the Bitcoin ecosystem. And now we are tapping into its full potential by launching this SDK. Because before, if you wanted to like access everything that the collective has to offer, that means to interact with multiple smart contracts, with the governance mechanism, all the staking flows, and the SDK completely changes that. That gives you builder a single and clean interface that you can access the staking, the voting power, the governance proposals, and the backing mechanism. Everything that is behind the build to earn machine of model of the Rootstock Collective is now much easier for you to access. So this is the kind of tooling that lowers the barrier of entrance for developers, and makes it so much easier for you to access this ecosystem. So I'm very glad to welcome the person who worked hands-on on that, which is Sebas, and he will walk us through these news, this very exciting news, and we'll show how you guys can access that. Welcome, Sebas.
Hello everyone. How are you doing? I will share my screen right now. Give me a second here. Let me know if you can see it. Cool. Okay, cool. Okay, basically Raisa has said everything, so I don't know what to say. Basically, yes, this is a new product, a new launching that we have for you guys. This is an SDK thought for being used in front end, but also in backend services. So if you go to the RSK Smart repository from Collective SDK, we will share this link in a moment. You will be able to enter to the SDK and see all the information about it. Basically, as Reis has said, we are working based on the great work that the guys from the Rootstock Collective have done before in this application. And basically, for you to context, everything that you can see or interact with in the application, in the UI of the Rootstock Collective.xyz, you will be able to do in a scripting way, right? So you will be able to interact with the smart contracts in order to seeing the rewards, to back someone else, to get RIF, to delegate and vote. Basically, you will be able to see it and see all the information. The package is, as I said before, is called Collective SDK. You will just need to install it along with VM, because they work together in order to provide all this structure, right? A quick start is very easy to use, to be honest. So we did it in a way that anyone can just enter and use it. For using it, you will need to have in mind two important aspects. First, as I said before, using VM, because this is the important aspect in the wallet or the account communication with the smart contracts, and also that you will be able, of course, use it in testnet by calling the chain ID number 31, or also in mainnet, of course. But also, if you are somehow working with some specific contracts, I don't know, let's say that you are developing your own ideas in an hackathon, so for example, and you need to interact with the SDK in your own smart contracts, you can also, when you initialize your SDK, you will be able to pass contract addresses. your override the current addresses that the SDK has and using your own addresses. More than that, basically this is as any other SDK in terms of usage. You will first initialize the package, as you will see at the end of the README of the project. You will be able to see a full example of how it works. Now, so normally what you have always is you initialize your SDK. In this time, the only mandatory aspect that you need is to indicate if this is going to be testnet or mainnet, and then you will be able to work with it. So you have the initialization of the SDK, and then you have the object to work with, right? So this case shows a very basic functionalities. For example, checking the balances by using the holdings section of the SDK. Also, using the stake ref function, for example, the listing of the proposals and also the voting of different proposals. So you will be able to interact with the ecosystem and this protocol in all the ways. This is the important aspect. We also, my colleague Wanate has created also an SDK and a starter kit with this SDK, using it for a front-end development. So basically, this is going to allow you to connect your wallet and will be able to stake or withdraw any amount of RIF, and also see the active proposals that you have in the protocol, in testnet or in mainnet, depending on what you are using. And yes, basically, this is all this quite new product. We want you to all to use it, to test it, to let us know any feedback, any comments that you have. Of course, you can use it in hackathons, as I said before, for new products, new ideas, new crazy things, but also for your own products if you want to collaborate with the collective area or any other product from Rostock. You are more than welcome, and just let us know anything that you would like to see more, or anything that you think that should be more detailed or more clarified. So that is everything. Hope you enjoy it, and let's keep working hard on Rostock.
Yes, that's really, really nice what you just showed, Sebas. And it's a big breakthrough for both the collective, for Rootstock, and also for builders coming in. And I wanted to ask you, since you were hands-on, so how was the process of abstracting all the complexity of the DAO mechanisms to put it into an SDK? What was the most challenging part of putting everything into an actionable, easy to access to like an SDK?
Yes, normally in this kind of developments, the most challenging part is to organize all the ideas that you have at the beginning, right? And how to make them step by step in a current in a correct work, right? And how to
Yeah.
test it in a correct way also, because sometimes you as a developer have so focused on the code, but you sometimes obvious uh, other things that are so important also. Naturally, today it is very useful the usage of, for example, the ones that Nico showed before with Cloud CLI, with Cursor. Also, these are tools that they after they are gaining a lot of importance in the development world. The developer that doesn't use today AI is not pushing all the technology that we have today, and all the work that we can also improve in
Mhm.
terms of speed, in terms of security, in terms of a lot of things that we can do.
Yeah, definitely. And one other thing, Sebas. So of course that this is a tool that's super useful, and I know that the community and the builders who are already active on the collective will be super happy. But when you guys first started working on that, what were the type of usage that you were seeing, like the use cases and how builders can tap into the full potential of such an SDK?
This kind of this kind of SDKs and tools are very useful for hackathons overall. Of course, if you have a clear idea on any application that is related with the collective, of course, that is also important. But this is most of for people who doesn't need to just start from scratch to interacting with the contracts from the collective, for example. But they have right now all a complete package for that, and they don't need to spend 2 or 3 hours just connecting functions with VM and from scratch to searching for each one of the contracts of the protocol to interact with, right? So this gives everything just in a package in order for being used, easy to run with.
Yeah, that's true. That's super cool. Sebas, thank you so much for taking your time. Congratulations on the tool for you and the team who worked directly on that. As you said, this is super useful. This is a nice, beautiful package for builders coming into the space, making their lives easier, much easier for you to tap into Bitcoin and the power of it. Backed by Rootstock smart contracts. So I think this is super powerful, super useful for builders, new builders, uh, also the regular that we have here, and who has ideas on how to use it. That's going to be very nice to see you guys
Yes.
developing. And as Seba said, we want to invite you all to try it out. So that's already has been live on the GitHub. Let me just quickly show you guys here how you can access that. Okay, here we go. So the screen here. So you come into Rootstock GitHub repository, which is RSK Smart, and this is the first one here, or the last one to be uploaded, which is a Rootstock Collective Starter Kit. So you have everything that you need here, as Sebas just showed. So that nice package is pretty much that. I know it doesn't look that nice for everyone, but this is very nice. So this is how you're gonna access. This is all open source for you guys. Not only this repo, but all the other ones that you find here, you can easily access everything that you find. The team makes it super tidy, super organized for you. So I want to invite you all to check it out and see how much you can do with Bitcoin with Rootstock. So thank you so much, Sebas, for your time. And thank you everyone for watching us until now. So as I said, today's a bit shorter call because we wanted to really focus on these two tools because they are super useful for you. I want to thank you all for being here with us today. I want to invite you, if you are not yet a follower here on the X account, to follow Rootstock to make sure that you are up to date with all the news. Also, Rootstock Collective, if you're a builder or you are a backer looking to support new builders coming into the space, this is the place for you. And what else? Oh, don't forget to check our YouTube channel. We do have as I said, the clips from this call are gonna be uploaded to to the YouTube channel. So it's gonna be super easy for you guys to access this content whenever you need, whenever you want. And yes, I want to invite you all to try it out, the tools that we showed today, also to check it out the news. And thank you so much for being with us today. Looking forward to see you on the next one. And yeah, bye.